The following program, Live and Learn, is made possible by Aging Partners. Find out more on their website.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. Spring and summer are just around the corner. It is time to start thinking about getting in shape so you can do all those fun spring and summer activities. Joining us today is going to be Aging Partners health and fitness expert Karen O'Hara to talk about all things fitness at Aging Partners. Good stuff, don't go away.
Hello, I'm Julie Masters. What do UNL undergraduate students have to say about a gerontology certificate? Joining me today are two of those very students, Mark Staley and Ashton Erickson. Stay tuned.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. Everyone seems to be concerned about healthy eating and a proper diet to make sure that we stay healthy. We want to help you out today. So here with us is Jill Engel, Aging Partners Service Coordinator. She's going to give us some great hints and tips. Don't go away.
Hi everybody, welcome to Live and Learn. I'm Kim Hachiya. Hey, on this segment today, we're going to be talking about Domestic-PUPS, and we're going to be meeting a special guest named Major. You don't want to miss it.
This and more on today's Live and Learn.
Here you see a little excerpt of one of the great Aging Partners fitness classes that are going on.
And then pivot on your right foot and step back at the right hip. Right hand creates a fist. Left hand shields the fist as you step your left foot back. Push out as we step out left into an energy punch, then tuck your left hand behind the right elbow and pull back into a parry.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. It may not seem like it right now or this morning, but winter is going to end. Spring is going to come and summer follows that. And we want to make sure that everybody is in the best physical health that they can be in. As spring comes around, we want to be outside walking, we want to be gardening, we want to be doing all of those great outdoor activities. And so we're here to talk to us about some ways that we can help you do that is Karen O'Hara. And Karen, of course, is the Health and Fitness Coordinator for Aging Partners. Karen, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me here.
Okay, so the fitness classes are great. I'm involved in those. They're wonderful. We're going to talk about those and talk about some of the things that are coming up. Mm-hmm. But let's talk about the fitness center, because the fitness center at the new Victory Park location is just going great guns, right?
It really is. We've had a 360% increase in new fitness center signups. It's just proven to be a very popular place. You know, you build it and they will come, and people have definitely shown up and used our facilities, so we're so happy to see it being used.
Now, are you encouraging people to perhaps make appointments if they're going to come in, or is it still just okay to walk in the door? Is there still room?
Yep, it's still okay to just come in. You know, the early mornings are pretty busy, but we still have plenty of time where it's not too packed. And you know, we do encourage people to set appointments if they want, say, an appointment with a personal trainer, but just to work out, they can still just come in whenever.
Okay, wonderful. You have some new equipment coming, and they sound really fun.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the new equipment?
Okay, so when we moved to the new location, we got 6 new pieces of Kaiser brand pneumatic air-powered strength equipment. It's strength equipment that was specifically designed for older adults. It is much easier to use than standard weightlifting and strength equipment. You can adjust the resistance just by pushing a button with your thumbs, and you can use your right thumb to increase the weight and your left thumb to decrease the weight. It's really easy. So we got our entire upper body workout already there, and we've just ordered, and we'll be getting within the next few weeks, all of our lower body pieces will also be Kaiser brand pneumatic equipment. So we'll have the whole suite of Kaiser equipment for people to use, and I think they'll love it. We're also we have 4 new steps. Those are recumbent full body trainers that are very popular, and we're going to get 1 more of those because the 4 that we have are very well used.
Well, even though they're easy to work with, would you encourage people to come down and work with somebody and get shown how to use this stuff?
Absolutely. We have certified personal trainers available by appointment. We've got them by appointment on Tuesdays and Thursdays primarily, but they can sometimes get other days depending on availability. And it's not a bad idea when you first sign up to use the fitness center to make an appointment or two with the personal trainer just to learn how to use the equipment and to design a workout that helps fit your goals.
Oh, it sounds wonderful. Now, just as a quick reminder, if people are going, gee, I would like to try that, but now I'm not even sure where they are. What should they do?
So yeah, we are located at 600 South 70th Street in the old VA campus. We are, Aging Partners is in the former VA outpatient clinic. It's just behind and to the right or the south of the old VA hospital.
Okay, and the hours?
The Schmieding Center for Active Living Fitness Center is open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Okay, very good. And for a personal trainer, is that just 2 days a week?
We have personal trainer appointment slots on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but people can oftentimes get other days if there's trainer availability.
Huh, okay, so they just need to make a phone call and figure out what's going on.
Exactly.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And I guess one last thing, there is a small fee, right? Or
Well,
at
we
least
don't charge a fee for
current.
people over the age of 60. For the people age 60 and over to use the fitness center, there's a $10 suggested contribution per month.
Okay.
It's anonymous. We don't keep track of it. For people under the age of 60, there is a required fee of $15 a month to use the fitness center.
Okay, and that is dirt cheap.
Yes, it sure is.
And it's a great
Yeah.
fitness center. Okay, so fitness center is available. Let's talk about some of the classes that we have coming up this spring.
Absolutely.
I know there's at least a couple of things that you would like to help promote, and those are the strength training. Tell us why you think that the strength training is such an important part of what you do.
Well, one of the most serious risks for people over the age of 60 is falls. We have like 32,000 people dying every year from falls.
That's just an incredible number.
I know, it's just terrible. And so strength training is by far one of the most important things that people can do to prevent falls and to just, to build up the muscles. And it can help build muscle mass, it can help build up your bone density. All the things that you need to protect you from a fall. And it also, strength training also improves symptoms for things like arthritis, diabetes, lower back pain, heart disease, osteoporosis, depression, obesity, Parkinson's, just lots of other things. So we're very big on promoting strength training.
Now, lots of people they'll think of strength training as I got to lift weights, but it's legs and it's other things as well. I mean, to sort of help keep you balanced and again, avoiding the falls.
It's not about getting bulky or getting, building up the muscles. It's about preventing falls and, keeping your whole body strong and fit.
Yeah, okay. So there's a couple of different classes. So let's at least walk through a couple of the classes. The first one is called Strong Bodies.
Yep, okay, so we have two brand new evidence-based strength training fall prevention classes. One of them is called Strong Bodies. Strong Bodies is a group strength training fitness class, and so it utilizes hand weights, ankle weights, body weight exercises, and the class is limited to 15 participants per session. It goes about 60 minutes per session, and there's a warm-up, there's a bunch of different strength exercises, and it's all done to music. It's really, really fun and energetic, and the response has been amazing. People really love these classes.
Yeah, and as you said, people need to sign up early, right?
Yes, they do, because these classes, since they're limited to 15 people per class, they fill up fast. And these classes are offered, the Strong Bodies classes are offered Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're going to have, starting in April, we're going to have a beginner's class from 9 to 10 a.m. and an intermediate class from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m.
And this goes for a pretty good length of time, right?
Yep, these classes go for 12 weeks.
Yeah, 12 weeks. So it starts in, is it April? Is that when it starts?
Yes, April 16th to July 9th is our next Strong Bodies session.
Okay, well that just, I'm tempted to take it.
Yes, it's a great class. Sign up early.
Yes, I'll sign up early. Okay, what about the second class? This one sounds like a lot of fun, actually.
Yes, our other evidence-based fall prevention course that we're teaching is called Bingo Size, and it's taught in the senior center by our senior center manager at our new Victory Park location. Bingo Size, it is what it sounds like. It combines the popular game of bingo with an exercise program, and these exercises are specifically for fall prevention. And so it helps reach out to people who might not normally they exercise, our senior center participants. So they go through a full bingo game and do a number of exercises, and this his class has been shown to reduce falls, to have increased walking speed, a lot of increases in health knowledge of the participants. So it's a great class for people who are visiting our senior center.
It just sounds like fun. You play bingo and you exercise at the same time.
I've taken it. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Okay. So this is, I don't think they have a specific time yet. And the
Yes.
encouragement is to call and either talk to Ben or talk to you or...
Yep, you want to call the senior center and ask for the times, because it's offered usually Tuesdays, Thursdays, but it's hard to say exactly because some other events sometimes
Right.
take its place.
Right.
But call Ben at the senior center and he should be able to help you, let you know when the next class session is starting.
Okay, great. Those both sound like some fun. Let's talk about a few of the other classes. These are all great classes. They've been offered for quite a while. I've taken several of them. They're lots of fun. I encourage people to do it. But let's sort of walk through them. The first one is Dance for Life.
Yes.
Sounds like lots of fun.
Dance for Life is one of our core classes that we've been teaching for a long time. We've got 2 different sessions going with 2 different instructors. The class focuses on balance, strength, mobility, cardio, and it's a bunch. It is what it sounds like. It's a dance class that has like a warm up, synchronized movements. They start off in a chair and then they eventually stand up and move around and get their heart rate going. It's just a lot of fun. Lots of dance moves, lots of music. We have it offered at American Lutheran Church at 42nd and Vine Street, Mondays 1:30 to 2:30, and that goes from April 22nd through July 29th. We also are offering it at Old Pavilion in Antelope Park. That's at 1650 Memorial Drive, Wednesdays from 10 to 11 a.m., and that goes from April 3rd through May 22nd.
That's great. And one of the things that I always find wonderful about the instructors is that they'll tell you to do what you can. And if anything hurts, don't do it.
Yeah.
If you need to sit down again, sit down again. So it's not like you have to be in this great shape to show up and do these classes.
No, these classes are adaptable for people of any ability, and they can be done from a chair. In fact, Tracy Foreman, one of our instructors, is going to be taping a couple of chair-specific workouts here for our public television, so we're excited to see what she's going to be providing here in the future.
Yeah, those are lots of fun.
Yeah.
And she is one of the instructors for the Qigong class. Let's talk about the Qigong class, Qigong Refresh and Recharge.
Yeah, so Qigong is an ancient martial art that's just done in a very slow motion. It's a very meditative, very slow, gentle movements, and it's really good for balance, flexibility, strength. You start from a chair and then you slowly move to standing forms, and then you close with some seated stretches. People love it. It's very relaxing, and it doesn't feel like exercise. We're offering, again, it's offered for any levels of ability. You don't need to be in good shape to do this.
No, Tracy is very good about, that's the one I take, was with Tracy, and she will take you very slowly through how to do all of these movements.
Yes.
It's very easy.
She's a great instructor. These courses are going to be taught at American Lutheran Church at 42nd and Vine Street from Tuesdays from 10 to 11 a.m. and that will go April 23rd through July 23rd. And then we're also going to have another one. We're not sure of the location yet. That's going to be determined, but that is tentatively scheduled Thursdays 1:30 to 2:30, April 4th through June 20th.
And one that sort of goes hand in hand with that is a Tai Chi class, and that is called Tai Chi for Arthritis and Fall Prevention. There's 2 levels, level 1 and level 2.
Yes, this is also an evidence-based fall prevention program. Tai Chi does not feel like exercise similar to Qigong, but it's a very important, it's evidence-based in both fall prevention and arthritis relief. So it has, a double whammy, so to speak. Tai Chi is another ancient martial art that's been slowed down, and there's very specific forms. We have 2 different levels, one for beginners and one for people who've had experience with Tai Chi. Level 1 is going to be at Eastridge Presbyterian Church at 1135 Eastridge Drive. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 2, April 30th through July 18th. We're also going to have a level 2 for more experienced Tai Chi practitioners. That's an American Lutheran Church, 42nd and Vine Street, Monday and Wednesday, 10 to 11 a.m. And that's May 13th to August 7th.
Wonderful. And there is one more class. It's chair yoga. We've run out of time. I think we've sort of talked
Yes.
about that, but that's a nice stretching class as you're sitting in a chair. There is also a recommended contribution for the classes, but it's not mandatory.
Yes, a suggested contribution of $4 per week for these classes.
Karen, thanks so much for stopping by. I wish we had a little bit more time
Yeah, you're
to talk about this. Come back and talk to us again sometime.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. Make sure you stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, it's never too late to live and learn.
There are 2 online scams making the rounds on social media, and their main goal is to steal your personal information. Number 1, the shopping scam. Here's how it works. Scammers set a lure with ads featuring too good to be true deals on hot items with rock bottom prices, which is a major red flag that it's a scam. If an ad appears on your online profile, change your password immediately. Number 2, the genealogy scam. Thanks to the internet, researching your family tree is easier than ever. But since these sites are a goldmine of personal information, scammers are trying to trick people with lookalike pages or legitimate-looking free sites. Before signing up to find out about your ancestors, do a little search for the name of the company and verify its reputation. If you spot a friend sharing a sketchy-looking post, speak up. You just might save them from being scammed. For more tips on fighting fraud, visit aarp.org/FraudWatchNetwork.
Hi everyone, I'm Julie Masters and welcome to Live and Learn. It is an absolute pleasure to have 2 UNL undergraduate students with us today. Mark Staley, who is a biology, health and disease major, and Ashton Erickson, a communication sciences and disorders major. In addition to their majors, they are both pursuing a certificate in gerontology. Welcome to you both.
Thank you.
Oh, well, welcome to Live and Learn. Well, it's a great pleasure to have you with us. And so I have the good fortune of knowing a little bit about you, but I thought our viewers would welcome the chance to learn about you and your background. So Ashton, why don't we start with you and then Mark? Well, but tell us a little bit about where you're from and why you chose UNL.
Okay, yeah, so I'm from western Nebraska, a small town called Hayes Center. It's about 4 miles west. And I guess I just decided to come to UNL because I wanted to stay in state, but I also wanted to go to university, so it just seemed right.
Wow, it was a good decision, wasn't it? Yeah, excellent. And Mark?
I grew up in Gretna, Nebraska, just east on the interstate, and what really made me come to Nebraska, I've always grown up a Husker football fan, athletics, so I grew up watching and always have wanted to come to Lincoln.
Excellent. Well, so you're both doing pretty interesting majors and being able to accomplish that at UNL. So can you tell our viewers why you chose those majors and then how you see those majors helping you in terms of your future career plans and career choices? Mark, why don't we start with you?
Yeah, so I started on the pre-med track, and I wanted to kind of pick a major that would complement that really well. And I was looking at all the majors UNL offered, and I chose biology, health, and disease because it seemed like a very straightforward path with the biology major, but then also a focus on health and disease. So I chose that and really want to be a physician, so I don't know if it's a geriatrician, anesthesiologist, or family med, but it's really excited me to kind of do well in that field and pursue it.
Oh, it's a wonderful path. Thank you. Thank you. Ashton, how about you?
Yeah, so I've always been interested in the medical field, but coming into college, I didn't really know for sure what I wanted to do. I started out on the speech pathology track, which is actually the same major of communication sciences and disorders. And then I shifted my emphasis to audiology after doing some shadowing, and I've just really enjoyed that. I've had a lot of experiences as an undergrad with that field, so I'm really excited about it.
Just a quick question. So when you say audiology, working with people in terms of hearing devices or?
Yeah, mainly focusing on hearing and balance.
Okay, very interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So In addition to your majors, you both are pursuing the certificate in gerontology. And how does the certificate complement what you want to do, not only in terms of graduate school or medical school, but then also in terms of your careers? Ashton?
Yeah, so for the certificate, I already completed my practicum. I went to various nursing homes and helped residents with their hearing aids, cleaning, we did hearing tests, and I learned a lot from that, just having that hands-on experience. It's definitely not something that I would have had otherwise without the certificate, and I just really enjoyed getting to meet those individuals too.
That's outstanding. Thank you. And a shout out to Bede Bolin, who was your practicum supervisor.
Yes.
So grateful to him for what he's done for you.
Yeah.
All right, Mark, why gerontology?
Well, I really got interested in it when I didn't have enough kind of course load, so I'd have to graduate either early or take on a bunch of credits. So I started looking into kind of minors and other courses that were offered at UNL, and I saw gerontology minor originally, and I thought, oh, that would be a very interesting thing to get into, but then I looked a little deeper and I found the certificate, and it seemed like it would be more beneficial and would give me a unique opportunity with the practicum opportunity to kind of learn more. But as hopefully a future physician, the demographic of our population is getting older, so I think it's more important than ever for people to have that understanding and for a physician to understand the older adult, and then from there they can give the best care to their patients, and I think that's just really important.
I would agree 100%. Yeah. Not only a physician who understands older adults, but an audiologist who understands older adults as well, and the uniqueness of the population. So in addition to being undergraduate students and your respective majors and pursuing the certificate, you're also research assistants in the Department of Gerontology. And I think for our viewers, it would be interesting for them to learn about the different projects that you've been working on and how your knowledge about aging is helping to inform that effort. So Mark, why don't we start with you and then Ashton?
Yeah. So I run the gerontology database and it's got all the programs in the U.S., kind of the undergrad programs and graduate programs, but fellowships, so minors, certificates, PhDs, masters. And from there I kind of keep a tab on all of the programs, what's going away, what's coming in, and from there I get a very good understanding of kind of where we are at in education and gerontology and what the trends are. Mm-hmm. And I think the main focus with that is to be able to then understand what we can do for gerontology in education and take the steps necessary to kind of progress it and just move forward with it.
And so the research project that you've been involved in, which is a continuation of work that Kristen, Anna, Lauren, and Monica were involved in, was presented in Tampa. And so I think our viewers are going to have a chance to see the poster that was presented at the Gerontological Society conference.
And I was lucky enough they laid the groundwork for me. I've had the easy job of maintaining it, but I owe a lot of the work to the people before me.
Excellent. To share the story about the nursing home residents. So I'm curious, because you've both had different experiences, what have you learned about aging that really you didn't know when you came to Lincoln, to UNL, that understand today about the experience? Ashton?
Yeah. That's a big question. I would say I've learned a lot. I really hadn't had a ton of experience with the geriatric population besides my grandparents before coming to UNL. So I think really with my practicum, I learned about a lot of different people, just getting to know them personally and how they're really just normal people, I guess. Some people might think that the geriatric population is kind of daunting, I could say, but it's not. I really enjoy spending time with them.
And what a beautiful way to say that. It's not a daunting population or a population that is not interesting, but in fact, you've come to discover just how interesting and how varied the population is.
Yeah.
Very good. All right, Mark?
Yeah, I think so. Aging has always been a thing I think people fear, and I think I, of course, didn't know, like, get a little scared of aging at first, but the more with I've learned through my classes at UNL, I've just gained a real good understanding of what it means to age and age healthily, and how that's the normal is healthy aging. And whether it's the things we can do to allow ourselves to age healthily, but I think it's just always, it's made me, learning this in class, it's given me the steps forward of what I want to do and to be excited to age instead of being fearful of it.
I like what you've said, to be excited about aging, and I'm sure our viewers are in agreement with you that aging is filled with opportunity, isn't it? So, Ashton, this is your final semester at UNL, and you are preparing to graduate.
Yes.
What will you remember about your time on the Lincoln campus?
There's a lot to remember, I guess. Every year seems to be different and bring new opportunities. This year has been a big year focused on gerontology with being a research assistant and continuing with my practicum. So I just think overall the relationships I've built with different people.
You've done a beautiful job, haven't you, in terms of making connections. Ashton, thank you. Mark, how about you?
Yeah, I was just going to say the memories I've made with people that I've met since coming on campus. So kind of the friends I've made, but also then and opportunities with the research under you, Dr. Masters, and then with Ashton in the office. I think it's just been an amazing atmosphere always, and you can't ask for a better group of people than the people at UNL.
It really is a gift, isn't it, to be able to interact with so many different people from so many different backgrounds. So, you know, a question that I ask all the guests and would like to ask the two of you is, what gives you hope? What brings you joy? And Mark, and then Ashton.
I think just having a good social support around me. I have a wonderful family, friends, people, and they give me an amazing opportunity to be, kind of have that social support. It allows me to find the happiness, the joy, the hope in life, because without them, stuff would be a lot tougher. And by having all these people in your life, it frees up the time to enjoy the little things in life, and I think focusing on that has really brought it into my life.
Excellent, the little things.
Yeah.
Ashton, what about you?
I would agree with my family and friends, just the people I interact with on a day-to-day basis, just making those relationships stronger. And I was also going to say the little things that you might take for granted, but yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I have to say what gives me hope and joy is to be in the company of the two of you, as well as all the other students in gerontology. A special thank you to your parents, and they've done such a beautiful job of preparing you for this chapter. And then also just a huge thank you to Terry and Judy Haney, who continue to fund the research assistants and give the two of you the opportunity to learn more about aging. So just so grateful to the two of you. Thank you so much for being part of this experience. And to our viewers, remember, it's never too late to live and learn.
Aging Partners has relocated to Victory Park, 600 South 70th Street, just east of the old VA hospital. Follow the signs around the south part of the building complex and enter under the Aging Partners sign on the east side of the facility. The new fitness center is equipped with state-of-the-art cardio and fitness equipment. Caseworkers and resource specialists are available to assist you with a variety of aging issues. Enjoy a hot lunchtime meal and engage with others in a variety of activities. Aging Partners, now at Victory Park.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Live and Learn. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. As we get a little older, and I certainly know this for myself, it gets harder and harder to maintain that weight that you'd like to be at and to eat healthy and to be healthy. we want to help you out in that regard. So our guest today is Aging Partners Service Coordinator Jill Engel. She is here to talk about better habits for eating. Is that a nice broad topic, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Before we get into some specifics, because we're going to kind of do some fun things today, talk about the good things you should be doing and some of the bad things that you should be doing or not be doing, I guess. But let's start with our healthy reminder, and that is My Plate. And the last time you were on, things had changed a little bit, but over the last couple of years, they have not changed. Let's talk about My Plate and the challenge to always eat healthy.
Yes, so My Plate is a really good visual representation of how we can structure our plate to incorporate healthy foods and proper portion sizes. So we want to really focus on incorporating the 5 food groups: lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy, and whole grains. And by incorporating about half of our plate with those fruits and vegetables, that helps to kind of balance out our portion sizes with some of the other foods, and making sure that we're incorporating a variety of foods each day and the colorful fruits and vegetables. The more colorful our plate is, the more nutrients it contains.
Okay, so here are my challenging questions for you. Breakfast.
Yes.
You know, oatmeal, and we'll talk a little bit about this a little bit later on. Oatmeal is the great breakfast, right?
Yes.
So you have your oatmeal. How do you incorporate all of those things into a bowl of oatmeal?
Yes. So oatmeal in itself, like you said, is a great breakfast option. It is a complex carbohydrate, so it's full of dietary fiber, which is good for our digestive health. It's also a good source of antioxidants. It can help with promoting our heart health as well as managing our blood sugar levels. So oatmeal by itself can be a little bit plain, so there's definitely some things that we can do to help spruce it up a little bit. I think adding in any of your fruits, such as berries, apples, bananas, raisins, apricots, those are a good way to help naturally get a little bit of that sweetness to it. You could also look at adding in natural flavorings such as cinnamon. Some people add pumpkin to it. You can add honey, maple syrup. Those are all good ways to kind of enhance that flavor a little bit as well. And then nuts and seeds. Those are another good source of protein. And those can add a little bit of a different texture to it, a little bit more of a crunch. Sunflower seeds, chia seeds, almonds are all good add-ins to oatmeal.
Yes, they are. My wife won't let me do chia seeds because they go everywhere. They're these little tiny things. She always was picking them up somewhere. So I don't do the chia seeds anymore.
Yep.
What about the vegetable part of it? I mean, that seems like you can get the fruit in, and you have the protein that's there with you, and you have a little dairy. The vegetable part is a little harder.
The vegetable part is probably a little bit harder. And breakfast, I think, in itself is probably a little bit more challenging to get the vegetable part of it. But I think incorporating it more at lunch and supper, it can help balance that out throughout the morning too. Okay,
because I was just going to say another pretty popular breakfast for a lot of people is just toast or a muffin with peanut butter. You have the protein and you also have at least a certain amount of carbs.
Yep, absolutely.
But where's the fruit? And then you have to add the vegetable. There's my challenge.
Yeah, the vegetables at breakfast I think is definitely more of a challenge. So, but like I said, incorporating it at lunch and supper is a good way to help balance out throughout the entire day.
Yeah, although lunch again seems sometimes it's more of a challenge. I mean, we've sort of created this lifestyle for us is that we don't eat a lot for breakfast and a lot for dinner, but or lunch, but we have a big dinner. I'm not sure that's the best way to go about it, but that's sort of at least where lots of people end up, and so you maybe have a soup and a sandwich at lunch, and again, it's sort of hard to
balance that.
To get it balanced.
It can be, yep. So the My Plate is a really good way just to visually see how the structure of each plate and each meal can be.
Okay, good. Okay, one of the things so many people are always concerned about is their weight, and how do I lose weight, and and there's all kinds of diets, and there's now drugs that are out there that were intended for something else that people are using as sort of a weight loss thing. I don't want to get into a lot of the specifics about diets. There's a few out there that seem to be good ones. The Mediterranean diet is one that they talk about. There's lots of talk now about sort of fasting throughout certain parts of the day. I thought your advice was really great when we sat down and talked earlier. And don't just jump into something. You need to talk to somebody about it, whether it's a doctor, whether it's a nutritionist, somebody who can at least get you on the right path.
Exactly. So each person is different, and each diet is different. And so it is really important to visit with your physician, your primary physician and registered dietitian, to talk about what diet you're considering and if it's healthy and safe for you to do that.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just, I didn't want to get too carried away with that,
Yeah.
but I thought it was important. I thought it was great advice that because everybody is, well, I need to lose 5 pounds, so I'll try this or I'll try that. But even at that level, somebody should be, you should be talking to somebody.
Yep. And then you mentioned the Mediterranean diet. The Mediterranean and the DASH diet are great just patterns of overall eating in general. I mean, the focus is really on whole foods with that. So lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, low-fat dairy, complex carbohydrates, and nuts and seeds. So by following that type of overall eating pattern is a really good, just overall general way of eating.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the things to stay away from and some of the things that are good. We'll always start with the good ones. Mixed berries. We keep hearing a lot about that. The one thing, and I think I mentioned to you when we were chatting, is that the berries are full of sugar.
They are. They are full of more natural sugar,
Yeah.
yes. Berries are also a really good source of antioxidants. And antioxidants are those cancer-fighting chemicals that can help reduce our risk of cancer. So the biggest thing with berries, I would say, is just making sure that we're washing them before we eat and not storing them in the fridge for too long of a time period.
Yeah,
they do go bad. They do go bad faster.
Yeah,
So
they do.
I usually encourage people to look through the berries once you get them and pull out the bad ones. Don't let one bad berry spoil the rest.
Yeah. Okay. We've talked a little bit about nuts. Almonds was one that was mentioned specific. Those really are good snacks or even good things to incorporate into the meal.
Absolutely. Nuts and almonds and specifically are a really good source of unsaturated fats. So that is our healthy fats, and it can help with our heart health and promote protein and digestive health as well.
Yeah. The next one is kind of an interesting one. Apples.
Apples.
Our good friend Tracy Foreman said everybody should eat 1 apple every day.
Yeah, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Yes, there you go.
Apples are really high in vitamin C, so that's really good for our immune system. And again, they're full of antioxidants, dietary fibers, so just all around they're a really good fruit source for us to regularly eat.
Yeah, I have a good tip. And I got this from a book I was reading called Atomic Habits. Anyway, he wanted to eat more apples, but they were in the refrigerator, and so it just wasn't top of mind. So he took them out of the refrigerator and he put them in a bowl so he'd see them every day, and he was eating more apples.
Yeah, if you see it, if it's readily available, you're more likely to grab it.
Yeah. Okay. Lean protein. You've mentioned this a couple of different times. How do you sort of make that determination of lean protein?
So lean proteins is going to include more of your poultry, seafood, those types of proteins rather than some of your red meat. Red meat is certainly okay to have, but choosing more of the lean proteins is going to help with the saturated fat. And of course, cutting off any of the fatty parts of the meat is always an additional help to that as well.
Yeah, how about how much? Because there's always, you know, some people will say, well, 3 ounces is plenty, or 6 ounces.
Yeah.
Boy, you go out at the restaurant sometime and it's a little challenging.
It is very challenging. So about 3 ounces is the recommendation. Usually it's about your size of your fist or about the size of a deck of cards. Obviously, like you said, when you go out to restaurants, there's 12-ounce steaks that are available. So just, you know, cutting it into smaller portions and taking the rest home is always a good thing to keep in mind.
Yeah. Let's talk about eggs, because sometimes eggs get a bad rap, and yet it does end up on most people's list of good things for you.
Yeah.
Tell us about eggs.
Eggs are a complete protein. So what that means is that they contain all 12 of the amino acids that are necessary for our health. Eggs, like you said, they have gotten a bad rap, and most of that is due to the cholesterol content. But recent research has shown that it's more of the saturated fat and the trans fats that can impact our blood cholesterol levels. So I think it's really important to look at the types of foods that we're pairing with eggs. So having eggs with an English muffin and a side of fruit is very different than having eggs with bacon or sausage and hash browns.
Right. So we don't want to leave eggs off.
No. I think eggs, incorporating that into your meals a couple times a week is very healthy, and they're a very good source of protein. Just being mindful of what we're pairing it with.
Yeah. One last one on the good side. I think we've talked about some of these things, but water is one that I'm sure most people probably don't drink enough water.
Yep. So the recommendation is 8 8-ounce glasses a day, so 64 ounces per day. Most of our body is actually made up of water. So about 60% of our body is made up of water. So it's really important for us to hydrate our bodies and making sure that we're consuming water regularly throughout the day. Water is considered the gold standard, so it is important to get that in regularly. But there's also certain things that you can do if you're not a big water drinker. You can add some flavorings to it, some limes, lemons, some fresh fruit. I like to add the fresh fruit sometimes when my fruit's starting to kind of get a little bit softer, like add some lemons or limes or berries or something to it just to kind of enhance that flavor a little bit.
Yeah, very cool. All right, I knew we were going to run out of time, but I have to dump over onto the bad side for one thing, just because it is a concern of mine, and that is watching your sodium levels. I had physical therapy one time after some surgery, and part of it was a dietary thing, and the nurse said, no sodium, or limit your sodium. Somebody said, well, what about sea salt? And she says, does it have salt in the name? And he went, well, yeah. That's salt. What are some good alternatives? Because you have several of them if you're concerned about sodium.
So I would say the first and foremost is read your nutrition facts labels. Compare different products. There are more brands that are coming out now with reduced sodium or no salt added options. Looking at your seasoning options, switching from, for example, garlic salt to garlic powder, onion salt to onion powder. Those are easy switches to make. And then one of the salt-free seasonings I like to use is the Mrs. Dash seasonings.
Oh, yeah.
There's a variety of seasonings that they offer, and they're really just versatile in how you can incorporate those. But I would first and foremost say read the nutrition facts labels, compare different products.
Right. We're out of time. I can't believe it. I knew we should have set up a longer segment. Thanks so much for coming by and talking to us today. It's really great information. We'll have to have you back on soon.
Thank you very much.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in. I am your host, Jerry Renaud. Stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, it's never too late to live and learn.
Scammers are after your Medicare information. Here is what to watch out for. Ads or phone calls offering something for free from Medicare are scams. Criminals want your Medicare number in return for the free items, and they use your number to illegally bill Medicare or to sell it to other criminals. If your Medicare number falls into the hands of a scammer, they may use it to falsely charge Medicare for services you never received. Keep exact records of dates and services you receive and compare them to your Medicare explanation of benefits. If you receive a phone call from someone saying you need to verify your identity because of suspicious activity using your number, hang up. Medicare will never call you out of the blue to verify anything. For more Medicare scam tips, go to aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
Hi everybody, welcome to Live and Learn. I'm your host, Kim Hachiya. As usual, I want to thank our friends at Aging Partners and LNK-TV for producing the show for us today. I'm super excited about today's show because it's about an organization in Lincoln called Domestic-PUPS. I think a lot of you may have either heard of Domestic-PUPS or seen a Domestic-PUP. And so my guest today is Merri Hackbarth, who's representing the organization, and she has brought her friend, Major, who is a Domestic-PUPS service dog. So Merri, thank you for coming. Quickly tell me a little bit about Domestic-PUPS. What is it? How did it get started? How are you involved?
Sure. So Domestic-PUPS, Michelle Ashley O'Day is the founder. She had seen a program where prisoners were training service dogs, and she thought she would like to try that someday when she retired. However, a few years later, she had a litter of puppies and met a gentleman by the name of Dick Spearman, who was the principal at Robin Mickle, and they decided to try an EduPup at Robin Mickle. So that was the first dog in the schools for Domestic-PUPS, and we were started in 2000.
Wow, so you're coming up on a big anniversary next year. That's pretty amazing.
It is.
So tell me what the organization does. I know that you have what you call therapy dogs maybe and service dogs, and what's the difference there?
That is such a great question. So many people get confused. So the difference is a therapy dog helps many people. They will go into a school or a hospital, assisted living. They will go to events where they can help multiple people. A service dog is trained to help one specific person with a medical need. And that's their focus, is their one person versus many.
Yeah, so that's pretty interesting. I know that Major is a service dog for a particular individual here in Lincoln who needs him for balance and also to help like grab the clicker for him and do all sorts of things. So that's pretty cool. And I love Major. I think he's a very cool, he's very well, right now he's very calm. So tell me, why is Major such a great dog? What is it about him that makes him a superior service dog?
What we like about Major is he is unique. So he is an actual trained service dog and does work for an individual with mobility. We also have him dual trained to do epilepsy tasks, and we use him as a demo dog. So he's kind of like an ambassador for Domestic-PUPS. But what truly makes him unique is he will focus on his person and do whatever he needs to do when he needs it. However, when he's not needed and he's given the okay, he will go visit everyone and help share that little joy and make others feel at ease as well. So he does both therapy and service.
Wow, that's great. So you mentioned earlier that your founder was interested in this situation with training dogs in the prison. So tell me about that and how that works.
Yes, so we are in 4 different prisons in Nebraska. The actual service dogs, they start out as babies in York at the women's facility. They will be there at about 8 weeks, and they'll stay until about 5 months old. Then, and they learn crate training, basic manners. After that, they will leave the prison and go into a volunteer home. We call them puppy raisers. They'll stay with a puppy raiser for about a year or so. They continue to learn basic obedience. They get public access, going out about everywhere, and they also learn how to live in a family. Then once they're about a year old, they go back into the prison. There's 2 in Lincoln and the 1 in York, where they will train the advanced task, where they learn to actually do service dog work. And they're there for about a year. It's really a rewarding program. The inmate handlers get a lot out of it. They learn how to work as a team. They get communication, leadership skills. It also helps the staff.
Right, right. And so then I have other friends who are what you call a weekend warrior. So tell me about what that program is.
Yes, so the dogs, when they're in the prison and they're being trained, we don't want them to lose what it's like to be out in public and the noise and the smells that are in stores and places like that. So a weekend warrior volunteers to take a dog 1 weekend a month. So they take them out of prison, they pick them up on Friday, take them everywhere that they go, and then take them back on Sunday afternoon, and they go back to task training. So it really works out well for everybody.
Right, right. And then, like, if I was to be a weekend warrior, do you guys give me the food for the dog and tell me what to do with him or her? Or?
Yes. So both the puppy raiser and a weekend warrior, we provide everything, the crate, the food, the dog. We'll even provide the training. So all of that comes with Domestic-PUPS. There's really no expense to having it. All we ask is that you maintain what they're learning. So whatever they're learning, we're going to share with you. And take them out and make them behave. So we don't want them to get away with being naughty in public. They do need to show manners. So we just ask that you continue their training outside like they're learning inside.
Right.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So I noticed that in the pictures that we're showing, that most of their, or all of the dogs appear to be large dogs. So tell me about that, and where do the dogs come from?
So our dogs, before we always went out to rescues and shelters, homes, we looked in the papers, we would travel all over looking for dogs. Unfortunately, very few of them would make it. We have a really high standard, both physically, mentally, are you going to fall off the chair? And so we started supplementing our dogs through a breeding program that we have. So the most popular dogs, of course, are Goldens, Labs, then we have Doodle mixes and Poodles, but those are the most common dogs. They are all large because of the type of work we do. So because we do mobility, we do seizure response, hi buddy, seizure response, they need to be able to push a person on their side. They need to be able to lay on them if they need some deep pressure. They need to be able to counterbalance them. So we do use large dogs.
Right, and I know this picture we're showing right now of this young woman, her head is on the dog. You told us that a dog actually had to do that maneuver, so tell that story.
So yes, what they're doing there is they will come in and push the person's head to the side if it's laying down and they're having a seizure and they can't breathe. The situation we had, there was a young man away at college. It had snowed, so there was quite a bit of snow on the ground. He'd went behind the dumpster and then he had a seizure. There was no one around. So the dog was able to come in, push his head to the side, and then bark and get help for someone to come. And that truly did save his life at that time because there was a lot of snow. So it does help. We originally did it because it was a request from someone who'd lost a family member due to that.
So how do the dogs get matched with their eventual, I don't know, client? I don't know what you call them, but how do you match? How do you make that match?
It's magical. It really is. So we spend a lot of time once we get the application. I think he's going to fall off.
Yeah, why don't you let
hop up. There you go. Good job. There you go. So yes, it's really magical. We go through an interview process, learning as much as we can about the clients, their lifestyle, energy, and what tasks they need to have done. And then we also will look at the dog and what their strengths are. And so based on that, we will combine them. So we see what the dog's strength is, what the person needs, and then we match them. And I'll tell you, it is so special when it happens that it just makes my heart burst. It's just magical.
How many times do you, how many dogs do you sort of match up per year? And what's the wait time for a dog?
We currently have a 2 to 3 year waiting period for dogs. There is truly a larger need than we have dogs. The number of dogs that we graduate is truly based on the prison and how many inmate handlers we can get. So that's what limits us. So we like to place about 6 a year, but it just depends on if we have enough staff that can help us train the dogs.
So are there other programs like this? Clearly there's got to be other programs like this in the U.S. that train dogs like this, right?
There are. They're all over the country. Truly, if they are reputable, I'm grateful for them because there is such a large need. I think we find out more and more what dogs can do and how they can help people. And because of that, I think there's a larger need.
Right, right. I mean, I realize Major's probably like, your superstar dog, but what are some of the other types of activities you ask your dogs to, or people ask their dogs to do?
So we truly specialize with children, epilepsy, balance, mobility, and then diabetic. So the things that they can do is they can sense when a person has a diabetic low, which is really dangerous, and notify them that we have a problem and you need to do something. So they use scent to tell them a lot of things about a person.
So you told me when I talked to you earlier that when you guys match there's like a graduation ceremony when the inmate hands the dog over, and that is just really a heartwarming situation. Tell me just briefly about that, because we only got like 2 minutes left.
Well, what we do is we go into the prison at the very end, and we hand the dog back to the inmate handler that trained them. And then we do our formal ceremony, but at the very end, then the inmate will bring the leash up. It's called turning of the leash. So they will go up, they'll actually hand the dog over to the recipient. They know this is the last time they're going to see or be with their dog after a year. It's very heartwarming and humbling because they do give a lot. And it also lets them be a hero for a day instead of an inmate.
Right, right. That's the remarkable part about it, is that there's so many people that are involved in this, and it's just, every single step of it is like a good news story, and I really like that. So
it is a community. It takes a community to graduate a service dog.
Right, right. Well, Merri, and we want to talk about Domestic-PUPS. You have the big event coming up, the Dog Expo. Is that what it's called?
I love my Dog Expo. It's March 23rd and 24th. So we'll have a lot of things there. There's vendors that will be selling their wares. We will have activities for people to do with their dogs. So it'll be a fun time. It's 2 full days. So I hope everybody can come.
And we have on the screen your URL for your organization. So if people want more information about Domestic-PUPS, please, look at the URL. And thank you. Thank you so much for coming. This has just been such a fun segment, and thank you for bringing Major. And we just love it very much. So thanks a lot.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. And I want to remind our viewers, it's never too late to live and learn.